Are you trying to convince someone to change when they're not willing to do so? Are you involved in debates, arguments with people around political things or differences of opinion? Are you putting your energy into these discussions that lead nowhere, that just leave people frustrated and angry, or and you feeling drained after? This is something I want you to really be aware of today. This is what I'm going to discuss. Okay, so money in particular is a source of energy. And as I said in a previous video, we get topped up with our energy levels every night while we're sleeping. So we've got those things replenished for the day we're about to live. And most people are unwittingly having it siphoned out, as I said, through social media, the news, the mainstream news, technology, all kinds of things that are vying for our attention. But they're also vying for our energy. If they can harvest your energy, grab your attention, you end up being the lesser for it. You end up being more depleted. So I want to ask you, are you spending your time in even commenting on things, trying to put your view across, trying to convince someone of the stand that you're taking? Because we really have to be more selective of how we use this energy we have. Because let me say something, the number one thing that people say every day, they're tired, they don't have enough energy. Now, when you don't have energy, you won't have a good life. Energy is life. Energy is a measure. It's a mitochondrial kind of measurement of ATP, which is energy that's produced from the cell. It's precious. And people just assume it's going to get depleted through certain days and we're not going to have less of it, particularly as we get older. But like I said, we've got a lot of things right now being thrown at us that are trying to take that energy, because it is a currency. And if you look at it, that is the most precious commodity that you own, okay? And to keep it for yourself, right? So that you don't feel exhausted by the middle of the day, draining from people that you get into discussions with that end up just being friction. We don't talk about that, because that'll start them being triggered about something, and I've got a different opinion about that. So it's basically, in the times we're living in, we have to be the guardians and protectors of our own energy. And money, as I said, is a source of energy. It's something that's an exchange for what we give and what we get, what we receive. And for many people spend money in order to get something that's going to replenish some kind of energy within them, whether it be low dopamine levels, and they'll get that feeling of well-being, but it's all temporary. And then they get flat and they look at the purchases they've just made and they go, oh no, my credit card's just been bumped up. How am I going to pay that? Or did I really want that? It doesn't look as appealing now I've got it home that it did in the shop at the time I was searching for something to elevate my mood. So we're living in times, and particularly as we go into 26, where we're going to be hit with some really tough economic times. There's no question about it. It's going on now. It's going to get worse. And it's going to catch up with a lot of people who've been mindlessly spending in an attempt to restore their energy bank in some way. Because we haven't been taught about it. We've been taught that we get that externally. But in actual fact, it's generated from within us, and that's why it needs to be protected. And we need to be discerning about it. Now, if we look at all the people who have no effort at all in getting money, acquiring money, keeping money, increasing money for themselves, one thing that's very common with them, they're often quite frugal about how they go about spending it. They're very discerning. And look, money being a source of energy, we don't just go around going, here, there's $100 for you, here's $200 for you. if we all did that, then money is, also the key to us having a good life and survival in a certain way. So we don't want to throw that away. We don't want to deplete the reserves we have. And like I said, next year, we are going to all be challenged. And the people who've let themselves get into a lot of debt are going to really find it difficult. And perhaps they need to do that. Again, it's this mindless spending, consumerism that's just been on this rapid snowball that's gone into, huge momentum over the last decade in particular. But more so the last few years, people have often spent more since the COVID years in an attempt to make them feel better and use that as a source of comfort. So we're all going to be faced with this reality that as things become more expensive, inflation goes crazy, the cost of living generally across the board is going to go sky high. It's going to be even more high than what it is now. We're going to find people who are really going to be, shown the wake-up call with it all. So, I just wanted to talk about that, how it is a form of energy. And if you can look at your money that way, what you have, and start to preserve it and to build it and to really look at how you spend. And, being frugal is not about, we're in an abundant universe. It's being wise. It's being extremely wise. Like I said, you'll come across many millionaires who get around in, old sneakers and baggy pants and, they look like they've got them from their thrift shop or something. And, they take their lunch with them. They make their own lunch. These are the people who've saved and collected money. And they've learned to be wise with it, and consequently, they're fine. They've got enough reserves for them on a rainy day to be there for them, So I kind of just wanted to talk about that because, like I said, it is a form of energy, as is the energy that we have to live our lives. Because if we don't have enough energy, we won't have a good life. We won't have any life. I mean, everything relies on the amount of energy that we have in our body to do something. And the less we have, it starts to deplete. And, an exhausting day, conversation, as I said, that leaves people depleted, not taking care of ourselves, giving ourselves the love, the care, the nurturance, everything that we need, it's going to become more important. So just remember, you've got this energy budget, and once you've used that, it's gone for the day. It's disappeared. And if you can look at money the same way, well, that's how it's going to be. So I want you to just have a think about this. The thoughts that I'm thinking, the conversations am I having, are they taking away my energy or are they enhancing it? Are they adding to it, taking it away? These are the things we're going to have to ask ourselves in order to get through the times that are coming up. Because the more exhausted and depleted you are, the less able you're going to be able to think constructively, intelligently, have critical thinking skills. It has to become really important that you get your physical health well and you protect the money energy you have and your physical energy. Okay, thanks for being with me, and I hope this helps you today. I'll be back again, and let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you. Okay, lots of love. Bye for now.